What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of season 2, or like episode 16, whichever way you're keeping track of episodes. Quick turnaround for us. We were a little late filming last week's episode, but we got it in under the gun. So we're back, hopefully on a better schedule. I think we finally kind of worked out the kinks of our own schedules, mostly mine. Brady's pretty relaxed. But anyways, we're back. Huge day today with the Tour Championship. Uh, Obviously, Victor pulled it off. It was not all that exciting to watch because it was exciting. It was great golf, but at the same time, it's like it was pretty foregone conclusion there for a long time. Like there wasn't a lot of change or anything like that. And so basically, we just watched two people hit the ball around all day because even at one point, they basically stopped showing other players because it wasn't like it didn't really matter. So, what are your thoughts? I mean, I'm sure you watch the coverage. I actually watched the entire round today. I even watched all of the coverage during the rain delay. That's how locked in I was.
You were dedicated.
I watched the Amanda Balionis interviews, or Renner, or whatever her last name is. I don't know which one's her married name and which one's not.
Those are some good interviews too.
They actually were pretty good. I was actually pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I caught most of them. I thought the Keegan one was pretty cool.
Keegan one was good.
That just kind of stood out to me. But yeah, I mean, Victor pretty much had a stranglehold on the competition most of the day today. He came out after that rain delay and drank to kind of.
Right.
I think he stayed 4 or 5 off at that point, and he pretty much held that the whole day. And I think the highlight of the run was that the longest putt he made the whole day on 14. And I thought he was going to miss it. It was a 23-foot bender, and he freaking drained it. And if he wouldn't have, Shoffley had an opportunity to get it within 3, maybe 2 strokes there, and they would have a closer match coming in. But he nailed that, gave it the biggest fist pump ever. He was pretty much easy 7 from there. But yeah, it was a fun day. I love watching Victor. He's such a cool, calm, and collected dude. Like he's always got a smile on his face and super chill about everything.
Right. No, which is Norwegians. I when I lived in Australia, there was a bunch of Norwegians that lived where I was, and every one of them was that way. Just like super calm. Like never saw him angry. Never even saw him like tense. Like their muscles always just seemed relaxed. I don't know what it is about that. I wish I had more of that, but yeah, they just seem like they're all just so super. They're all nice and they're all like attractive. Wow, must be nice. I don't know. I don't live in. I'm not. I don't know what that's like, but yeah, he is fun to watch. I'm surprised. I mean, I feel like this. I don't know what you think. I mean, like he's always been there, kind of right in the conversation, but I feel like the last 2 weeks kind of vaulted him into like premier status, like hanging with the big boys all the time now.
Yeah, after he clinched it today, that's the first thing that popped into my head is that he's legit. And my hot take, I don't even know how that would be anymore, but next year I bet that he'll be number 1 at some point, if not for most of the year. Because he seems like he has the confidence now. And I know that he was lacking in short game. He made a couple iffy chips and putts, mainly chips today. His putting was pretty good. I won't say that it was like the strength of his game, but his short game's a lot better than it used to be. And I think that's all he needed. And he's such a good ball striker. Like he hits the ball and it barely turns at all. Like it's just high and straight every single time. He makes it look way too easy.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty wild, and I mean, he's got to be the way too early betting favorite for major next year, right? I mean, like, is he already coming out? I mean, I haven't seen odds. I don't really look at odds and stuff like that, but he's got to be out there as, what am I trying to say? Like the favorite for St. Andrews.
Yeah, because like at the PGA Championship, he played with Brooks in the final group, right? And then last year for the British Open, I believe he was in the final pairing for that last year. So he's been knocking at the door of the major championships too. And He's definitely due, and I would
Yeah.
put money that he'll win one next year.
I wouldn't be surprised. He seems, especially with ball striking. I mean, I know you got to chip and putt it a little bit too, but Augusta seems like it would fit his game well just because of his ability to hit the ball where he wants to. I mean, just based on today, like how he attacked pins and, like you said, like seemed effortless. Like it didn't even seem stressful to
Yeah,
attack those pins, and his ball just landed there and stayed. I mean, like East Lake is not that. I mean, although they kind of tore it apart, but I don't know if it's that easy of a course. Again, it's not Augusta, but I feel like he would be really good there.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, definitely. I like him at Augusta for next year, but it was really impressive today. Poor Shoffley shoots a 30 on the front, and
Right.
he didn't
63,
hardly.
62, and doesn't get a gain any ground, like gained one stroke. Can you imagine?
Yeah,
I'd be so
yeah,
pissed if I shot a 62 was like, yeah, lost by 5 today.
yeah.
What?
It's crazy. The
Why?
Victor and Shoffley twosome shot a 61 on the front. Just like, what kind of golf is that?
It's stupid. Stupid.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Not an easy course. So they were firing on all cylinders, which is fun. I like to watch the tough rounds when they're fighting for par, but when they can tear up a hard course like that, it's also fun to watch too.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because, Wyndham Clark finished third and was 11 shots back of Victor Hovland. So, you know what I mean? It's not like these guys put up bad rounds. I mean, Morikawa fell off today, but Hovland 7, Shoffley 8 under, but like Wyndham Clark 5 under, Rory 5 under, Cantlay 4 under, Fleetwood 4 under. So it's just like those are not shabby scores, and yet it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. I don't know if I've ever seen a twosome pour in birdies like that, and it looked like video game. Like, look what you do on Tiger Woods. It was just like, I hit a 400-yard drive, I stick the ball right by the pin, knock in the birdie. Right by it, knock.
Yeah.
And that's what it seemed like. It was wild to watch. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say other than just like crazy. It just seemed like video game golf.
Yeah, I think everybody else on the course kind of validated that it wasn't like easy. They were playing their normal 4 or 5 under rounds. They're shooting in the high 60s, and then those Shoffley and Victor just go balls out, and I don't know. It was cool.
Scotty Scheffler shot even par. I don't know what. Yeah, go for it. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't really see much of him today.
Nobody. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. Early on there was a little coverage of like different people, but yeah, I mean, it was just those two, and like one shot here from Wyndham, you'd see Rory hit a shot every once in a while. Morikawa, who again I was actually pulling for and was hoping would win, and he just kind of fell off. And yeah, Scheffler just kind of like again goes into it. Number one, can't get the job done. I mean, not even close. So that's got to be frustrating. I still want to figure out. I know we've talked about this maybe once, even twice on the podcast already. Is just like I'd love to figure out what it is about his mindset or schedule, or is it the courses? Because the last 2 years he wins in like this one part of the schedule, and then while he had a great season and was consistent and all of that stuff, he just doesn't win unless it's like February, March, April, right in there. So I don't know what it is about that. I'm sure he's probably wondering that too, like why. I don't know if he's just tired, if it's just like it's been a long season and I just like can't close the door, but he just can't seem to get it done. And I just wonder what that is. Rahm's kind of the same way. Is just like, how does that happen?
Well, they're Scheffler's from Texas, right? And that part of the season's usually down in the southwest part of the country, so he tends to do good that time of year. And then maybe when it gets up in more the northeast, he's on different types of grasses. Maybe that has something to do with it. But definitely think that he'd be on to whatever. I mean, there's a trend now. There's definitely a trend. So hopefully he's aware of why he's hot during that part of the season, not others.
Yeah. He's got to get sick of watching 18 million head out of town, so hopefully figures that out, which is just an insane number to win for winning a golf tournament. Um, and really, I mean, like, again, Hovland had a great season, but like really kind of won it there at the end. Like those 2 wins are really, he got all those points from those. I mean, he wasn't, again, a top 30
Yeah.
player for sure and there, but if it's not for these like couple of weeks, he's middle of that pack, I think, right? I don't know where he was going into it, but
I think I heard that he had 28 starts this season and had 0 missed cuts.
no, that helps.
So pretty deserving, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes, he was on fire towards the end of the year, but then he won Nicklaus's tournament too, which was the other big one, and then the Hero World Championship, I think.
Okay, yeah. Or yeah. Did he win the Hero?
He won one of the smaller, the invite only events.
Okay.
So I don't even know if he got points for that, but that type of tournament was one where only the top players in the world are at. So he was against all the top dogs, and then at Jack's tournament too. I mean, only the best in the world are there. So the 4 tournaments that he won were literally only against the top players in the world. So all solid wins. 4 wins in a season is pretty
that's fair enough.
outstanding.
Yeah, that's pretty outstanding for sure. No, he definitely deserves it. I just maybe, and that's maybe there's my to that point is it's just it doesn't seem like, even though he won, it just doesn't seem like he was, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like he gets talked about with like Scheffler and Rory and even like JT or Jordan or Ricky, like they're such more popular names. But clearly he's having a better season than any of them, so I kind of hope he gets, I guess, like equal airtime, maybe is the way to say it, or gets kind of considered with the Rorys, the Roms, the Schefflers going forward. And he's going to be a real problem for the US in the Ryder Cup too.
I think so. Yeah, especially with how well he's been playing, and I think that he has the clout now that media has to start talking about him, and I think he'll be in the those top player conversations going forward in the next year and stuff now. So, but he did get some coverage last week. Par None Pod. Brady picked him after Thursday's round to win, so we had him covered.
Want to know? Okay. We need to now with the new season starting, we need to track see how many winners we can pick. I will not do. I'm just never been good at that, but I'm gonna try and do my homework like fantasy. I'm gonna try and like do my fantasy work and see if I can figure out how to do it. I've never been a great fantasy like researcher. Everybody I pick always gets hurt or underperforms, but I'm gonna give it a go. I'm gonna try it again.
Well, starting in the silly season here, you and I will have a competition weekly then. Let's do it.
Fair enough. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so speaking of the Ryder Cup, I think picks come out tomorrow or Tuesday. There was some kind of, I'm going to look it up if we know when they come out.
Yeah, we're not positive. We've heard both.
Yeah, I thought it was the 28th, which is tomorrow. I could have sworn it was tomorrow, but when do Ryder Cup picks come out? I don't know. Yeah, I don't see a date here, but
okay.
Anyway, I guess it doesn't really matter what. Yeah, it's either Monday or Tuesday. I did see an interesting article that was like, the Ryder Cup captain picks are more about popularity than performance. What do you think about that?
I think it's getting to that point for sure. In my own picks and guessing what Zach Johnson will do, definitely I think I did a good job of keeping that out of it, but it seems like everybody has their favorite player. everybody has their they like the popular players, but I think when Zach Johnson goes to pick his team, that hopefully he goes for putting together a cohesive unit and not one that just the popular players are on, because I feel like that's what the U.S. has done in the past, and that I think it's been since '93 that we haven't won on European soil. I think 30 years. So hopefully, maybe picking some non-popular players will work. But I have the list here, so let's run through the top 16 names really quick, and then we can discuss who we think will be on it. So Scotty is at number 1 by a mile with 27 million points, ahead of Wyndham Clark with only 13 million. So he's doubling the amount of points as second place Wyndham Clark. Brian Harman
13,000, 27,000. There's a decimal point.
Oh yeah,
not million.
Jeez, I'm seeing stars. All right, Scotty with
that'd be awesome if he made 27 million points.
Wyndham with 13,000. Brian Harman, Patrick Cantlay, Max Homa, Xander, Brooks, Spieth, Cameron Young, Morikawa, Bradley, Burns, Fowler, Denny McCarthy, JT, and then Lucas Glover at 16. And I'll stop there because I don't think there's many options past that besides maybe Finau in 21st. Yeah. So out of the top names here, who do you think is in, and who do you think is out?
Yeah. So okay. So I'll start with this is, I mean, I know it doesn't make any difference because they've already qualified, but, Wyndham Clark and Brian Harman win a major, which is really the only reason they're in, which is not a bad reason, but at the same time, I really don't, I'm going to go, again, I could eat my words here. I really don't think those two are really prepared or Ryder Cup ready, personally, but there's nothing we can do about it because they qualified through points. So I actually wish I'd kind of rather see some other guys. I think you have to take Brooks Koepka, as much as I personally cannot stand Brooks Koepka. I just don't see how you leave him off the list at 7, because again, he's miles ahead of the next guy points wise. Jordan Cameron. JT is down to 15th, who he was the big one. So basically, if Thomas is in, you're saying Koepka or one of these guys is out, plus Ricky Fowler's out. So I definitely think so. I think Spieth will be in. I think Morikawa is in for sure. So I think those two are a lock. Personally, the rest I'm kind of on the fence about. I really don't know who he's going to pick. I have a feeling he picks JT, even though he shouldn't. But again, you're leaving out somebody there. I think he has to pick Brooks. I really hope he picks Keegan just because I think he's earned it. And then I think Cameron Young has to be your next guy, right? I think Sam Burns gets the shaft. I think Ricky gets the shaft because I think he goes with Justin Thomas. I don't think Denny McCarthy goes in there. Lucas Glover is a tough one too. I mean, again, I just don't. I mean, he's kind of. I could see Zach Johnson kind of being like Lucas Glover. It's kind of a cool. I feel like they would gel really well. I don't know if Lucas Glover. I don't know if Lucas Glover has the game to be on the Ryder Cup though. So I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I'm kind of up in. I mean, I think it'd be great if you just went based on points. If you just went Koepka, Spieth, Cameron Young, Morikawa, Keegan Bradley, Sam Burns. I think that's a good team. I probably would sub out Sam Burns for Ricky Fowler just because of, I guess personal bias. I just don't have that much invested in Sam Burns, but Ricky's kind of been on this resurgence and just kind of has, I mean, you could say he's earned it. You could say Sam Burns has earned it, but I think that should be the team is all of those guys. Then I'd probably put Ricky ahead of Sam Burns just because I think it'd be a sweet team to have Ricky back on it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Definitely. Speaking of picking popular players, let's just stick Ricky ahead of Sam Burns.
Yeah, exactly
uh,
right.
so my top 12 and what I hope Zach does is basically 1 through 12 by points, except I had Ricky sneaking in there and I had Lucas Glover sneaking in there. So I was looking for two people to kick off, and I decided on Sam Burns because he was in 12th. He was the last to qualify. Ricky was very close to that. And then the next person on the list that I I think that we could do without is Cam Young, and so Lucas Glover would take his spot. Now, I don't really have a super good reason for that. Besides, when I feel like he was doing better towards the beginning of the year, and lately he's really, really been struggling.
Yeah.
And, I guess that like Lucas Glover's been hot, so swap those two out. But besides that, I think that mainly the top 12 that qualified are going to be great Ryder Cup picks. 6 is a lot to pick for a captain. I think it should probably be like 8 or 9, and then the captain gets 3 or 4 picks instead of 6.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
I think half the team is kind of a weird way to do it. Like, it seems like more guys should qualify, even like 10, and then you get like I get 2 captains picks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, top 10 qualify.
I think that's what it used to be, and when they did the whole revamping thing because we were losing every single time, they wanted more ability to make changes so that they could pick guys or guys that they think would gel better together. But 6 seems like a lot. It really is unfortunate for the 7, 8, 9 positions who, if they don't get picked, like dang, they were like in the top 10 of US players for the whole last 2 years, and they miss out because the captain gets 6 picks, which
and I wonder how awkward that is, like, afterwards, because it's not like you see Zach Johnson all the time. Like, he's around still.
Yeah.
So, like, unless you're Koepka, who's over at Live, and you won't see anybody, which is the only reason I can think of that you don't pick him, is it's just like, we want guys that are loyal. But it's tough. I mean, I feel like if you have Wyndham Clark and you have Brian Harman, you have to have Brooks Koepka if you're talking about that, just because, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see Wyndham Clark and Brian Harman being contributing that much. I see Wyndham more so than Harman. I just don't think Harman has the, I mean, I think he got lucky. That's a horrible thing to say. You can't, you gotta do something more than luck to win a major. I just don't see him as a Ryder Cup pick. I could be wrong. Maybe he'll go out there and go 4-0 and, shove it down my throat, which please do. But
hope he does.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he does too. I want him to do well. I think I originally thought that we were in trouble. I originally thought that we were in trouble Ryder Cup wise, but now I'm looking at the Ryder Cup points for the European team, and like it's not that like concerning, except for, here's what I don't understand. Victor Hovland is 17th on the list, but is already qualified. So I don't understand how, and maybe they just haven't updated this. Because I don't know. It says everybody in blue would currently earn a spot. So Robert McIntyre, Rory McIlroy, John Rahm, but then they have a qualified during, they have a qualified next to Victor Hovland's name, and he's way down the list. So, anyways, McIlroy, Rahm, and Hovland are obviously like crazy good picks. And then it's just a bunch of European Tour guys after that I'm like not that concerned about, though they kick our ass. So I guess I should be. But like Yannick Paul, Adrian Moronic, Victor Perez, Fleetwood's obviously a guy who competes. I don't even know who Rasmus Hogard is. I don't know who any of some of these. Adrian, I don't even know how you say it. Adrian Otugai. I don't know. And then Shane Lowry and Tyrell Hatton. So like, I mean, there's a bunch of guys that I'm not even really that familiar with or feel, I guess, like that threatened by. Though,
Yeah.
like we said, they end up kicking our ass all the time anyway, and it's always guys that we're like, "Who is that?" Um,
Yeah, it's always
so we'll see.
interesting because it's they're taking names over on the European tour and we don't get to watch. I mean, it is on TV early in the mornings, but it's not prime time, and a lot of people don't watch it, so we're not as familiar with those names. And then they come to play when it comes to Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I mean that. Yeah, and it says 3 automatically qualify from European points list and 3 from the world points list. So I'm guessing that it says EP, and then Victor is world points. Okay, so now I guess I get it. So they only have 3 qualifiers so far, and I'm like, don't the teams have to be made pretty soon? So I don't know where the other 3 come in to qualify. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who wins.
Is the European team do the 6 captain's picks as well?
Yep.
Or do
so Luke Donald will pick 6 captain's picks. Yep.
Oh, okay.
So 3 will qualify from European points, 3 will qualify from world points, whatever that means, because the points are so much lower on the European side. But again, if you just go by points, then it's a bunch of guys I don't know, but Victor Hovland is already qualified. So he's already, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Rory McIlroy, Rahm, Fleetwood, Shane Lowry, Tyrrell Hatton. I mean, those are all like pretty big names. Victor Hovland, that's half the team, and those guys can all do damage and have played on Ryder Cup teams before. Again, some of these guys I don't know, but like Alex Noren can play a little bit. Victor Perez can play a little bit. I mean, all these guys obviously can play a little bit. I'm just Robert McIntyre obviously can play and almost won. So there's definitely some concerning names, but nobody that I'm like pretty sure the Americans can take that down. But yeah, anyway, I've been talking a lot.
It'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see who each team goes with.
Yeah,
we can kind of analyze after that because who the heck knows what's going to happen? Zach Johnson might not care at all about these positions 7 through 12 and just go with some people that we haven't even talked about, like down the list.
Taking Tiger, Freddie Couples, Tiger.
Oh, let's do it.
He's taking Will Zalatoris, even though he hasn't played any golf. It's amazing that you're 19. Will Zalatoris, 19th on the list, been out all season with an injury.
Yeah, so he earned a lot in 2022, and that's the other thing I was going to say about like Koepka in 7th place. He's only played the majors, and all these other guys have played every single other tournament, and Koepka is in 7th. And going into the playoffs this year, he was 5th. In the last week, Pullman and Schauffele slid above him.
Yeah.
So it's hard not to go with it. Like, I feel like he'd be easily in first if he was playing in the tournaments that all these other guys are playing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he'd be an automatic qualifier for sure. Hands down, easy. Again, I can't really stand him, but you have to go with him, I think. You just have to.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
Yeah, so we'll see. And I mean, I think JT, again, will be the most interesting, like, name to see if... I know that I would be super upset if I was like a Cam Young or a Ricky Fowler and just being like, I had a pretty good season. JT did not have a good season, and he gets picked over me, which I know happens. Honestly, I would rather take Phil Mickelson than JT right now. That's how bad I think JT's playing.
Don't do it to me. Come on.
I'm just saying, if Ryder Cup experience is what you want, dude has one of the best Ryder Cup records ever. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Almost was right there at the Masters, can compete, obviously.
Yeah, he still can compete, I suppose. But I don't don't want to see him be.
Yeah, I mean they're not going to pick him, but I just think like that's how bad JT's season is. Is like might as well go with Phil.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
won't happen, but
sad.
yeah, I think JT
Hopefully,
goes too
hopefully,
because Spieth goes.
yeah, keeping those pairings together.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Cantlay and Schauffele, they were usually paired together. They're at 4 and 6, so they're both automatic qualifiers. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because Wyndham Clark, Brian Harmon, Max Homa, Cam Young, Colin Morikawa, all these guys that qualified on points, like in the top 12 here, are newbies. So
mm.
I'm sure that Zach will be looking for some seniority, and it will be interesting to see if he goes and gets it, or if he honors these guys in the points that they've earned in the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think a side note. I think a Cam Young, Brian Harmon 2-man team would be interesting. Just have a guy who can like unleash it off the tee, and then Harmon who doesn't hit it that long, but clearly can put his balls off. So I think that would be an interesting combination to put the team together as well. If Cam Young ends up getting picked, just because I wouldn't mind seeing a guy like let's play alternate shot, have Cam Young just bomb it down there, see if Harmon can knock it in. We'll just be fine.
Yeah, no, that would be a fun pairing. There's a lot of fun pairings here that could happen with all these new faces that might be on the team. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun Ryder Cup. I'm so pumped for it.
Yeah, it'll
Like,
be
we still
fun.
have
It'll
to
be
wait
fun.
like 6 weeks or something. It's
Is it that far away?
end of, I don't know the date on it, but it's at least a month out.
Oh, that sucks. Yep, September 29th to October 1st.
Oh, so we're a month away.
Yep. In Rome, which means we're going to have to be up early.
All right. Set your alarm clocks now. Get your sleep while you can.
Yeah, exactly right. It's going to be a long weekend. So fun. Wish I could go. That'd be fun.
Have you
When I
ever
was
been
in,
to a Ryder Cup?
no, we took the girls when they were young a couple of years ago. When it was in Paris, we were there like the same time, but
Oh, wow.
it was it was family vacation, and I had two small kids, and we were only in Paris for like a night or two, and so I was like, "There's no way." I mean, obviously, and I'm sure tickets are extravagant. Like, there was no way I was going to go, but I was like, "Oh man, I am so close. I wish I could go to a Ryder Cup." I've never even been to a professional golf tournament in my life in person, any tournament.
Well, the Ryder Cup would be a good one to go to.
That would be a
I
good
was
one to
at
start.
the Ryder Cup was in Minneapolis here in 2016, so I went to that, and it was so much fun. I went with my grandpa, and he he didn't like want to walk around a ton, so he kind of just sat and chilled in one spot watching while I just cruised around and followed Rory for a few holes, followed Brooks for a few holes, went and checked out, and I was all over the place. It was so much fun. Like, I would have loved to go with someone that was able to himself, but just being able to do it myself and just cruise around and just watch like wherever I wanted to, and it was
Yeah,
it was really fun. I was able to kind of like go up ahead and find a spot right on the rope and be next to the guys when they walk up. It was
that's awesome.
super fun. He was wearing red, white, and blue. He was yelling and screaming. It was
Yeah,
when Reed and Rory had bit and forth, dropping putts, and
yeah,
that's when I was there. So it's something I'll never forget.
yeah.
It
Of course,
was
that's awesome. Yeah, that would be so sweet. I hope one day I can make it to one because they seem like epic. They seem like an epic time, but I got to get to a regular tournament first, and then maybe the Ryder Cup. I'm just waiting for that invite. Just waiting for that invite. Somebody
yeah.
somewhere wants to invite me.
Do you have a local PGA tournament that comes to your area?
Yeah, we have two. So we have Colonial, and then we have what is it called now? The Byron Nelson. Byron Nelson. So we have Byron Nelson Colonial or whatever they're called now. One's the Byron Nelson, and then one is I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if it's called Colonial. It used to just be called Colonial, but um,
Okay.
I can never remember what Charles Schwab Challenge or something. And then we have we had the senior we had a senior one as well, senior one, and then we have a ladies one coming as well. So now that
Oh, nice.
the PGA headquarters is here now.
Oh yeah, they moved that.
So we will have they built a huge. I was just there with Callaway a couple of weeks ago. They've built a huge headquarters and then like a whole district, but they have two courses, and it's gonna host the PGA Championship here in a couple of years.
Oh wow, nice.
So hoping to get to that. I don't know how I'll figure that out, but hoping to get to the PGA when it comes.
Yeah, well that would be really cool. Um, and I saw that the TaylorMade facility is coming to it too. Are
Yeah,
you
that's
maybe?
gonna be yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool. We'll see. I don't. It looks like kind of like a Top Golf ish kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if TaylorMade is now. TaylorMade is obviously getting in the business of trying to compete now that Callaway owns Top Golf and seeing if they can kind of get into that market. I know they already kind of like partner with Tiger in that Pop Stroke, which is like the putt putt version, which I've never been to, but I've heard is really cool. Um, so we'll see how. I'm sure it'll be really nice.
Yeah, the renderings of it look unbelievable. It looks
Yeah,
like I don't know, there's like chipping areas and putting greens all over the place and hitting bays on the simulator and driving
yeah,
ranges. Like there must be a massive facility that's coming. So I'll
yeah.
have to come out there and see it when it gets built.
Absolutely. And there's plenty of space here to build something like that. Like out in that area, there's so much land. That's why the PGA moved out there. Universal Studios is building something out there.
Oh
And
wow,
now TaylorMade. So there's just, unfortunately and fortunately, there's a lot of land. And so people are just turning it into stuff and can't leave it alone. But there's a lot of cool stuff. You'll have to come out and we'll go to the PGA headquarters and stuff. So Callaway Cup is there tomorrow, which is all of like the staffers. So like, if you're a staffer for a course or something, they're going to all come and play a big 1 day tournament there tomorrow. So that'll be interesting to see how the scores are. Um, they had like the what was it like North Texas PGA qualifier there, and there were some dudes who put up some seriously high numbers. I've heard like
oh
it plays like can play like 7,000 to 7,200 yards, and like if you get in any fairway bunker, you can't hold a green. So you really got to be accurate. I haven't played it, but that's what I heard, and then so it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
yeah, wow.
Yeah,
Are they brand new courses that they built?
brand new. Yep, they built two
Oh
courses
nice.
just right out of the land there, and then they also have a massive putting green. It's huge, the biggest putting green you've ever seen in your life. But it's all under lights, and I've heard you can go there 24 hours a day. And then they also have a par 3 course that is lit up that you can go to as
Wow,
well.
that's
Yeah,
awesome. Night golf, playing under the lights is one thing that I always wanted to do. Going to
me
school in
too.
Tempe, there was a driving range that had lights like behind you facing out into the range so you could see where
Hmm.
to play. And I thought that
Yeah,
kind of like a top golf type like situation, but
yeah.
it's super cool like being able to see your ball. But I always wanted to play a short round of golf under the lights. It looks so much
Yeah, it does. I have not done it either. There's a couple courses here that have it, and I just have never made it there. Um, but yeah, I want to do it, so we're gonna have to make it a point. And also at PGA too, they have Top Tracer range, so it's Top Tracer, just like you see on the tournaments, but you can put it on your phone, and then you can go play any course digitally. So you can have like your phone or iPad there, be like, I'm gonna play TPC Sawgrass, and so you're just hitting it, and then it tracks it. You just tell it where you are through your phone, and these massive built-in things are just tracking every shot that you hit. Um,
that's cool.
yeah, so it's pretty sweet. And then it's kind of like TrackMan range, same idea. They just like can hone in on your spot and then track every shot that you hit.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's a sweet facility. It's unbelievable. And then of course there's a huge hotel and shops and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty incredible. Yeah. Anyway, tangent, but it's a cool place.
Yeah, definitely have to get out there to uh, play some night golf, the lights. But yeah, that's
100%.
crazy that all those facilities are kind of lucky you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess unless you want to, if you want to go out in the 108-degree heat and play there, which is what it has been here. So it's fun until it's not.
When it's negative 30 here in a couple months, I'll give you a call.
Yeah, no, I'll still be in shorts.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. What else? Oh, the Adam Shank video you sent me. We have to talk about that.
Yeah. So yeah, we gotta talk
Explain
about
that a little
that
bit.
just a little bit. Uh, yeah, so apparently Adam Schenk is as much of a gearhead as we are.
Yeah.
He travels with two bags every week to every tournament, and not just two different setups, but literally bags stuffed full of clubs.
Full of clips.
Like
Yeah.
he has multiple drivers for like ones that specifically he has to hit a draw, one for a fade, one for a high, one for low, one that he can do a draw and a fade. And he's a tinkerer. He is a shot maker. So apparently, he just selects the 14 clubs that he wants each week that he needs for certain shots on the course. And then in the off time, which he says he likes even more than playing golf, is tinkering with these clubs, which I I can relate to. So I thought that was super cool. Um, we talked about it a little bit last week, where a lot of these guys have the same putter and the same iron set for several years, at least a couple years. Sometimes they upgrade when the new models come out and stuff. But yeah, Shank is out there changing weekly with several different
Wow.
clubs. So
Mhm.
super interesting. Very cool. I wish I could see what his travel situation looks like. He just must be carrying everything and then some through the airport every week. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Wow.
thought that was really cool. It'd be neat to kind of sit down and chat with him about gear and what he likes to tinker with specifically, and
Yeah.
clubs that he likes to mess around with, and why why a player at his level needs a driver that he wants to hit a draw with, and then another one for a fade, and then another one where he can do both. Like, he can obviously hit it both ways, and but even him, if he's struggling with a slice that week, he puts the draw driver in play.
Yeah. Which is crazy. And the other thing that was crazy too is the video I saw that you sent me. It was like when he was like, "Oh yeah, this is the driver I'm going to go with." It was like a ping from like 2018. It was like the G400. So it wasn't even a new piece of equipment. He was going to select
Yeah,
a driver that was, I mean, how old? 5 years old at this point. So, I mean, super interesting. I almost think like part of me really likes that idea, and part of me is like, I almost feel, and I get this way sometimes when we get so much gear to test, is there have
yeah.
been points at the season where I've almost had like paralysis by analysis of like, I just
Mm-hmm.
need to settle on a setup. Like, I need to get a setup, settle on it so that I can go out and just like play with it and get comfortable. Um,
Yep.
like knowing what those clubs do, getting my, that's the only thing about that. And I guess when you're that good and you have that much time to work with it, it's probably not a huge deal. But like, I wonder how many clubs he swaps out every week. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Yeah. Like is he bringing seven drivers and then picking between like one or two of them every week, and the
mhm.
others are there just for him to play around with or just in case? But definitely, I thought the same thing. Like at the beginning of this season, I had like six drivers that I was like,
Yeah,
oh my gosh. And then you get it narrowed down to two, and you pick one, but then you're second guessing. Oh, what
yeah,
about these other two that I
yeah,
was hitting well, but I don't know. It is definitely a lot on the mind when there's different clubs potentially in play.
right. And I think for me, I mean, I guess I understand it more for a pro golfer who, I think we talked about this a little bit last week too, is like Adam Schenk is hitting the center of the face all the time. So he can like trust that like reading. Whereas for me, I know that I am not. And so if I go to test a club, it's like, well, it depends on which Ryan shows up. Is it the Ryan that can like hit the driver and like, relatively get it in the slot? Or am I blocking everything to the right? Or am I just hooking the shit out of everything that day? You know what I mean? It's just like, well, I came here and spent an hour testing this and I couldn't hit one ball solid. And so I have no idea what this actually does. So I got to come back again. Or even like, when you're narrowing it down, like, well, I hit this really good one day, and the next day I hit this one really good, and now I have no idea what to do because my swing is like I have two different swings. So for if you're listening to this for gear advice, I don't know if I recommend that for amateurs, but I find it super fascinating for Shank, and I just don't know how he doesn't like. I think I would second guess myself all the time. It's like, well, I'm slicing it. I mean, like, I don't know how many times you have done where it's like, I do this sometimes where it's like, I've played golf on multiple days in a row where one day it's like, man, I was just hitting the driver. Everything was just a like sweet, like 3 yard draw, killing it. I just like that swing. I feel like I have a feel for it. And I will play golf the very next day, feel like I'm doing the exact same feel, and that ball's going like high and to the right. And I'm like, I swear to God, I feel like I'm making the exact same swing. So that would be hard for Shane. I mean, if I was him, I'd be like, I couldn't even settle on a driver that's like, well, I'm slicing it, so I'm going to put the pull drive. I'd have to switch drivers every day.
Yeah, 100%. He he's at a different level than we are, and that's probably like so the old ping that he was showing in that video. It's like
Yeah.
he's had it for so long. He probably just knows what it's gonna do.
Mm.
He knows the shot that he can play with that specific club. But yeah, for us, it's who shows up that day.
Right.
It might be a swing
Right.
that we've never even seen before.
And that happened. I mean, I just played golf, so like I've been working on my swing, and for all of you listeners who care, because like I was really struggling for a long time with this like over the top move coming across it. So, getting a ton of side spin and everything would be like high, right, and just like die because it had that like crappy spin on it. Well, I finally got the club like, underneath, into out, getting that draw. And I mean, it's like 6 weeks of like consistent, like, haven't missed a ball right. Like, misses left,
Nice.
which is fine. That's what I want. Like, I want to hit the little draw. And if I'm missing it, I want to pull it. That's just how I feel comfortable. And then all of a sudden, I went out. What was it? Friday afternoon. Everything was high and to the right. It wasn't that little spinny, but it was just like it was playable. But it was a ball flight that I was like, this is not what I'm used to. Like hit it left, every day for 6 weeks, and then all of a sudden come out and be like, I have no idea what to do with that round of golf because I'm like, what? I don't know what to do with that because it feels like I'm making the same move. I don't know how you think about that, but I can get super frustrated in my head because it's just like I feel like I'm doing the same thing, so I don't know how to change it because the feel feels the same, but clearly it's not.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd love to hear your ideas on that because I get frustrated with golf like that. Is I have a hard time kind of like getting back to neutral and being like, okay, I'm just gonna like reset. I could do that when I play baseball, but I can't seem to do that when I play golf. And I've like wasted rounds being like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I know. I totally hear you. That's been happening to me more often than I'd like to admit lately. But
Yeah.
I don't think I haven't been playing as much as you. I've had the opportunity to like take a week off, or sometimes like even 2 weeks, and then when I come back, I don't really know what I'm gonna be swinging like or what my shot change is gonna be like. So then I can just kind of like play with whatever shows up that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you're playing every day or you're consistently playing, you're hitting that draw, and you're working on your swing, and then one day comes around and it's that slices back. And yeah, it just takes a little reset. The one thing that like feel like I'm decently good at it because I've been playing since I was like basically a good while. And my strength is figuring flying. So like if I go to the range before my first couple of times, or like I feel like I've learned a couple different things that in my course to kind of correct it and salvage the round so it's not complete and right out of bounds every time. But
Yeah.
it's definitely frustrating.
Right. And I should qualify to like I'm not slicing the ball out of like I shot 77, so it wasn't like man, I've been
Okay.
putting in these like well, my only point is it's not like it was like a blow up. I didn't mean it like, hey, I've been shooting mid 70s and all of a sudden I shot a 95. It was just one of those things where it was like, man, I salvaged the round, but it's weird when you have one of those round like for instance, I had a round last week or 2 weeks ago where I still shot 77, but I made 5 birdies and I made a couple of like really big mistakes. This round was a 77, no birdies, and it was just like there was 3 swings that really made it from being like an even par round to 77. But it felt so much even though the scores were the exact same, the round where I made 5 birdies I felt so much more in control and like the golf that I want to play. And this 77 felt so much different. Like I was like barely scraping it out of the dirt. And again, both were. I mean, they were good rounds, and I know people would like die to play that kind of golf. Even though I feel like I have better golf in me, it was just weird to have like 2 exact same scores feel so completely like opposite like golfing abilities. And it's just kind of hard to like, okay, now what do I do with that? What do I do with those 2 swings? How do I like keep that like ability to make birdies while cutting out the like 1 out of bounds or the 2 out of bounds? That's my biggest thing is off the tee, losing strokes out of bounds. I'm just like, damn it. I wish I could harness those 2 things and like put up a 65 one day just because things are just like clicking.
Yeah. Yeah. Those types of rounds, you just leave the course with your head spinning. You don't know what happened.
That's
You
exactly how
shoot
I
the same
felt. I was
stroke.
like, I don't know what to do with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn golf.
Yeah.
Anyways,
It's
I mean,
almost
if anybody listening has some ideas, what's that?
yeah. Call in. Call in.
Call in. Yes, call in. We're taking first time caller, long time listener. That was always hilarious. I used to. It's a total tangent, but sometimes when I was young, like especially in high school, I struggled with like insomnia. So I tried everything. And one of the things I tried was like listening to the radio because a lot of people, I guess, fall asleep to music. I've never been able to, but I was like, I'm going to listen to talk radio and see if that'll help. And instead, I ended up calling into these shows to talk about things that like I really didn't even care about. But like you start like listening and you get invested in the people, and now you're like, oh, I could call in and talk about this. So I'd end up like even up later, like calling talk shows talking about it. So I just knew, like, I always remember hearing that, like, first time caller, long time listener. Oh man, that'd be so funny if people called into our show. Anyway, again, a tangent, which it's our podcast, so we're allowed to go on those, but so funny. Yeah,
That's what we do.
that's what we do. Anyways, I think that's it. Do you have anything else? I think we got it. I think we covered it.
Yep. That was everything.
Are you playing any golf anytime soon?
I'm playing tomorrow. I think there's 1 or 2 weeks left in our league. So I was in it the last 2 years. Did not participate this year, but have been heavily involved as a sub. So another 7 minutes.
Perfect. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. It's going to be this whole week for some reason is going to be under 100 degrees here in Dallas, which we haven't had. Like every single day has been like 101, 105, 108. So I'm going to try and get out a couple times. And even though I know this sounds ridiculous, but like 97 is like a breath of fresh air around here right now. So I'm going to try and get out this week a couple times, see if I can, like not just feel dead at the end of a round. Because I played on Saturday no, Friday afternoon. It was 108 before the heat index. It's like 115. We got through all 18, but I was just like, what are we doing here? Like, this doesn't make, and this is so stupid.
Yeah, those types of rounds are long.
They hurt.
We had similar heat here, crazy humidity. It was also in that 110, 115 index. This week it's going to be in the 70s and 80s, so we're definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll be, if I'm not playing every day, hopefully I can get out there and hit some balls, or at least make it.
Yeah.
It's that time of year where around here I like to really take advantage of the weather. It's perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
pretty soon it will be very cold. So
Yeah, you guys got to get out of there. That's not a golfer's haven where you are. All right, perfect. All right, well, thanks guys so much for listening. We'll be out. I mean, we're gonna try and film these and get them out Wednesday mornings is the goal. Every Wednesday morning, we're gonna try and hit you with a new episode. Ryder Cup coming up. We may do a couple of like breaking news episodes coming forward, and we may do some recap episodes of the Ryder Cup. We'll see what's in store, but thank you guys so much for watching, listening. Like, subscribe, review, all that good stuff that I don't have to get into because you hear it on every podcast. But we do appreciate your support. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next week. See ya.